At the time, I was so afraid when I have made the decision to break the $120,000 bond. At the time, I break the bond was just because of myself. I hate that job so much. I cry every day when I go to work. I stuck there because I did not know what to do and how can I solve this problem. Yeah, I just so anxious every day. I have no motivation at all. But after that, I know it's time for me to move on. So I read a lot of books and I suddenly realized my mission. Since then, I am no longer afraid of it because, I'm doing this for my mission, for everyone I love. I spent just $120,000 to let everyone do things they love without any concern. It is so worthy.
Every day we're rising, empowered, Liion, roar so loud, no fear in this crowd. Passion turns to power now, living life so proud.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Future Builders podcast by Empowered Liion.
This channel is about guiding you to live a life you desire by integrating your passion into your career.
We want to show you how you can make enough money while doing what you truly love. It is not a myth.
And we are doing this right now. Woo!
Yay!
So, Daniel, a quick question. If someone handed you a $10 million right now, what is the first thing you're going to do?
10 million. I think like the first thing I should be just, sitting down for a second because my brain cannot process, I have that such a huge money at an instant. Yeah, but after that, I think maybe I will take the money to just go around the world having a trip that I've been dreaming about. How about you?
Actually, maybe okay, first thing first, I will definitely be celebrating it with my loved one, like bringing my family for a good meal, and
Mm-hmm.
then because we are going to give back to the society,
Mm-hmm.
so I will take a portion of it for the charity purpose.
That's great.
And then, same as you, I'm probably just going to book a first class ticket around the world, or maybe having my holiday on a 2 month cruise line. Because you know what, I scroll on the Instagram and then I saw somebody just bought a first class ticket and the service was damn good.
Yeah, that is really good service, for the first class kind of service. But I think that it is very great that you actually thought about someone else first before yourself. Yeah, but seriously, like making $10 million in 6 years' time, it sounds like too good to be true, right?
Yeah, it does. But today's topic is all about how a regular guy, just very normal guy, who you see on the street, like a very random guy, but who is a YouTuber, actually made that kind of money. And here's something interesting without any crazy tricks, just by doing something that we all can do.
Mm-hmm.
And through this, he started with just $2.27 in the bank from his YouTube earnings. Wow, right?
Like $2 something to start with that amount
Yes.
to become like $10 million. Yeah, this is really crazy. And we are talking about Ali Abdaal today, who is a former doctor who went from recording videos in his spare time during the medical school to earning $10 million over 6 years. And the best part is that he claims that this approach is something anyone can replicate, including you and me.
Wow, that sounds so crazy, and I can't believe that I can do this. But I know everyone here, like our audience, you may have the same thought, same as me. Like, how can he do this? Oh my God. So today we are going to break it down further. So from how he did it to what can we all take from his strategy. Honestly, I feel like a lot of people, especially those grinding out at their 9 to 5s, need to hear this. like this is super important for all of us.
Yes.
There's something refreshing about realizing about the secret sauce isn't just grinding yourself into the ground, but to work smart and more joyfully.
This is 100% true. And that's where the Ali Abdaal's his concept of feel good productivity comes in. We are not just like talking about like hustle, doing high side hustle, but this is like aligning on what you do with what makes you happy, and somehow like this will lead to better results in your life. So it flips the whole statement of this like work hard, then you suffer, then you succeed. This kind of statement on its head.
Yes, exactly. And today we are not just going to talk about Ali's strategy today because we think that just listening to his own strategy might be like not so related to ourselves, right? So we are going to add on some insights from our own very own experiences that tie into his whole idea. So maybe you can relate yours experience into his one. I mean, who would not want to turn their passion into profit while actually doing what they love and enjoying the process, right?
Yes, absolutely. So, guys, just stick around. We are going to unpack how this guy did it, the exact mindset that he used, and then how you can make your path to maybe not earning $10 million at first, unless you are feeling ambitious, but definitely you can get something out of it, which is more meaningful to your life.
Let's get into it.
Let's go.
All right. So let us dive into Ali Abdaal's story because honestly, it is one of those like, wait, what he did, that kind of journeys. I mean, this guy actually started out on the traditional path, which everyone will go through the kind of same thing. He graduated from the medical school at Cambridge, which is like, one of the top five universities in the world. Like maybe a lot of people want to get into it. Not a big deal, right?
Yeah, just Cambridge with a Cam and a bridge. Yeah, so this is very interesting because while Ali was studying to become a doctor, he started this side hustle, which is creating YouTube videos. And then we are not talking about anything flashy or entertainment-based kind of videos. His channel is focused on sharing knowledge, like studying techniques, productivity tips, and insights from his own experience in medical school.
Yes, and he was just an extraordinary man, while doing prank, all those things like no value thingy are so popular during that time. But he was not vlogging about his life or doing any pranks just for the views. It was all about value. But actually, what really blows my mind is how this whole thing took off. In 2017, his earnings from YouTube were just like $2 plus. You can't even get a proper meal with this like much of money. So I think, well, this is crazy. There's just barely enough for maybe just a coffee.
Yeah, but if you look at it, fast forward 6 years later, he is actually making $10 million. I mean, how do you even process that kind of exponential growth? You can't even calculate like how many million of percentage is that. And it is not like he suddenly struck gold with like one viral video. It was this steady, consistent journey of building value and sharing what he know.
Yes, and while that exponential income growth is actually impressive, what is even more interesting is how he did it. We are always told if you want to be successful, you gotta work hard, like grind every day and sacrifice everything else. It is the belief that has been like planted very deeply in all of us since we were kids.
I can totally relate to this. This is like this work hard and success will follow mantra is something that is deeply rooted in the corporate world. When you go to work in the office, those people are like that. But for Ali's journey, it is kind of the opposite. He did all the things society told him would lead to success. So he got into one of the best medical schools. Then he worked hard, did all the right things that people told him to do. But here's the kicker. He did not, the things that he did not bring him any happiness.
Yes, exactly. And I can relate to this as well because, I'm currently doing what I actually love. I enjoy it so much. I have not been so happy before, but my mom just don't agree with me. She said, like, I can't make any money from this. How am I going to survive? But that's not the point. And for Ali also, he followed the path and became this highly successful student. But at the end of the day, he was not happy at all. Like he hit all the traditional milestones, but something was just missing.
Yeah, so how he found out, about this was through his own experiences and studies, because he took an extra year to get a psychology degree. And then he came to this huge realization. Success does not lead to happiness. Instead, happiness leads to success. So that's the opposite. It is such a simple concept, but it flips everything we have been taught on its head.
Exactly. And that is where his whole idea of feel good productivity comes into play. It is not just about grinding and pushing through just to hit those traditional measures of success. It is about finding joy in the process and aligning what you do with what actually makes you feel good. So it is more about you feel good for yourself, not just to fulfill others' expectation. And when you're happy, you are naturally more productive, more creative, and success follows from that.
Yes, and the thing is, Ali didn't like stumble upon this idea instantly. It was not like some aha moment out of nowhere. It actually came from his studies in psychology and his own experiences of chasing success in a traditional way. So he found out that while he was doing all the right things, it was not making him happy. So he started to ask himself, like, what if the way we think about success is totally wrong?
He broke away from the mindset that we all carry. This idea that success comes first and happiness comes after. Instead, he started focusing on what actually made him happy and realized that that was the key to unlocking success. And I think that is such a very powerful message because it challenges the way we have been conditioned to think.
Definitely. You see, think about it. How often are we grinding, trying to reach this future point where we think, okay, once I hit this level, then I will be happy. Once I make certain amount of money, I will be happy. But Ali's whole point is why you want to wait? Why not focus on finding happiness right now, and then you let your success to follow from that?
Yes, and for most of the time, you will when you hit the target, then you think you'll be very happy, right? But actually not. You'll be feeling like something is missing out there. You do not know what is that. So I think his thinking is extremely similar to ours, and why we started Empowered Leon. Like yourself, Daniel, you quitted your high-paying engineering job and started your own venture.
Yes, I actually wanted to do something that I love at that moment. So as I said, it is not about like wait until I earn a certain amount of money, then I'll be happy. I have actually been doing what I enjoy at the same time, creating an income out of it. So guys, you don't get the order wrong.
I totally agree with you, Daniel. It is almost like we have been running on a treadmill thinking we are chasing success, when really happiness is the thing we should have been aiming for all along. Instead of chasing success, right? Why don't we are doing things that we really love, enjoy the moment, and success will be chasing after us. And once Ali made that switch, everything changed for him, not just in terms of how he felt, but also financially, creatively, and personally.
So through his YouTube channel, his business, his whole life, I really took off when he embraced the idea of feel good productivity. And this is something all of us can take a lesson from, because it is not just about becoming a millionaire. It is about finding a way to be happy in what you do. And then from there, right, success, like whatever it looks like for you, they will naturally come.
Totally. And I think that is why Ali's story resonates with so many people. It is this mix of following a passion, building something meaningful, but also doing it in a way that feels good to you, without the stress and burnout that come from the traditional grind.
Yes, and this path, right, it is not just designed for YouTubers or content creators. This concept of feel good productivity applies to anyone, whether you are running a business, working a 9 to 5, or trying to achieve personal goals. It is about flipping the script and realizing that you do not have to sacrifice your happiness in order to succeed.
Exactly. So now we have introduced who Ali Abdaal is, and now let us break down how Ali did this step by step and how we can actually all start using his approach in our own lives.
Sure.
I think now we have a better understanding of Ali's background and his idea of his book, Feel Good Productivity. Now, let us talk about the science behind it. This is where it actually get really, really interesting because it is not just something feel good theory. There is actually a psychology theory backing this up.
Yes, because I told you guys just now, Ali was taking an extra year to get a psychology degree. So he knew this stuff. So from the field of positive psychology, there is one these key studies that he referenced. This research is done by Barbara Fredrickson, a psychology professor at the University of North Carolina. In 1999, she introduced something called the broaden and build theory of positive emotions. Belle, have you ever heard of it?
Actually, I have not come across it before this, but after I understand what she did, it is truly fascinating. Essentially, Fredrickson's research found that when we experience positive emotions, for example, like joy or contentment, it is literally just broadens our thinking. We become more open to new ideas, more creative, and we see opportunities that we might miss if we are stressed or anxious. It expands our awareness, which is huge for productivity. And I think I can slightly relate to this because when you're happy, right, you're actually more aware of what's happening in your surroundings. But if you're very upset, very obsessed about something, you'll just focus on the thing itself. You will not open your eyes and look around your surrounding like what's happening. Do you agree with me, Daniel?
Yeah, I got your point, Belle. And the build part of her theory, right, is about the long-term effects. Positive emotions do not just make us feel good in the moment, they help us to build lasting resources. So things like problem-solving skills, resilience, stronger social connections, and even physical health. So it is like a positive feedback loop that keeps reinforcing itself.
That is what I find so compelling. When you're happy, your mind opens up and it creates this ripple effect. We are more likely to take in new information, collaborate better with others, and overall, you're more productive. And the best part is that you are enjoying the process itself, not just dragging yourself through it.
Well, I really want to praise you on this because I can really see the difference in the productivity when you are working on something for your study in the healthcare industry versus how the high quality of the work has been done for Empowered Liion. So really thank you, Belle, for contributing to our subscribers.
Oh, that's very sweet. Thank you so much, Daniel. But I have to say this, in a hospital, I'm definitely a responsible and reliable nurse. But I just don't like my job personally. But I will still do whatever I have to do in a good quality. But in Empowered Leon, right, actually I enjoy my role a lot because this is actually what I really want to do. And I have my mission. So yes, I'm putting 200% of effort, I could say.
Yeah, this is so good, Belle. And for those of you who are listening right now, we all have been in the situations where we are grinding, just pushing through to get something done, but we are not in the right headspace, and it ends up being harder than it needs to be. So what Fredrickson's research and Ali's approach show is that when you flip that and start from a place of positivity, things flow more naturally. So you are not just working hard, you are working effectively.
And this is something we can all relate to. Think about it. When you're in a good mood, everything seems easier. You're more likely to come up with creative solutions, you're more open to collaboration, and even setbacks do not feel as overwhelming. This is the broaden and build theory in action.
Exactly. And this positive feedback loop is what Ali Abdaal has really tapped into. He realized that if you make feeling good the foundation of your work, your productivity will naturally increase. And as a result, your success will come eventually. So this is a total shift from that hustle mentality we are all used to.
And Fredrickson's research goes even deeper. This is something she calls the undoing hypothesis, which suggests that positive emotions can actually help undo the negative effects of stress. So they don't just enhance your productivity, but they also help you recover faster when things go wrong. It is like a buffer against burnout.
This is a complete game changer, honestly, because we all know how damaging stress can be, especially when it accumulates over time. So, to know that focusing on building positive emotions can help you bounce back more quickly, both mentally and emotionally, it is really huge. It is like your emotional immune system gets stronger the more positive you feel.
Yes, and Ali uses this exact idea to frame his productivity strategy. He says that positive emotions, joy, curiosity, gratitude are like the fuel for your work. They help you to get into a flow state where you are just in the zone, fully engaged, and doing your best work. And the science backs this up. The happier you are, the better you perform, and the more sustainable your productivity becomes over time.
Right. It is not about working harder or longer hours. It is about working in a way that keeps you energized and motivated, which is much more sustainable. And I think this is where the real power of feel good productivity comes in. It's about finding that balance where you can be highly productive and be genuinely happy in the process itself.
It really makes you rethink how you approach work. I mean, so many of us are trained to believe that the more we sacrifice and the harder we push, the more successful we will be. But this research and Ali's experience show us that if we focus on feeling good first, the success can come more naturally and probably with a lot less stress.
That is the main takeaway, right? So we are not talking about ignoring hard work, but it's about being strategic with your energy and mindset. So by starting from a place of positivity, you create a foundation where success is just a byproduct of feeling good and being in alignment with what you love.
And that is what makes this concept so relatable. It is not just for entrepreneurs or YouTubers, it is for anyone trying to balance work, life, and mental health. The science of positive emotions so the science of positive emotion shows us that happiness is not just a reward at the end of success. It is the very thing that drives us toward it.
Correct.
All right, so now we are getting to the core of Ali Abdaal's productivity method. He breaks it down into three pillars: energize, unblock, and sustain. These are the foundations of feel good productivity, and each one has its own set of strategies to help you not only get things done, but to do so in a way that feels sustainable and joyful.
And what I love about these pillars is that they are not theoretical. It gives practical, actionable advice on how to apply them in your everyday life. Whether you are a content creator, working a full-time job, or managing your personal projects. So it is suitable for all of you listening here. So it's about finding the right balance.
Let's kick things off with the first pillar, energize. This is all about building the energy and momentum you need to get going. Ali breaks it down into three parts: play, power, and people.
Starting with play, Ali highlights the importance of bringing fun and curiosity into your work. He shares this story about Richard Feynman, the Nobel Prize winning physicist who rediscovered his love for physics by just playing around with ideas without any pressure to achieve anything. That sense of play is what sparked his creativity and led to some of his biggest breakthroughs.
That's so true. It is easy to think that productivity has to be all serious and goal oriented. But when you allow yourself to play and experiment, it removes a lot of the pressure. You start to enjoy the process, and that naturally leads to better results.
You know what, Belle? This is the exact part that why I hate the corporate job so much. Because right, when you are in the corporate job, it doesn't really allow you to experiment things. You have to do exactly what is being ordered. And if you do something wrong, the company will lose money and you are on the blame. Now, although I know that some companies highlights that they give employees the flexibility to try out certain ideas, but you know it doesn't end well.
That's why I love being an entrepreneur and visionary leader. I got to design the path for my company, and it is not restricted to what others want it to be. I have got less pressure on doing things on my own, even if it fails eventually. But in the corporate world, you can't really play with it, right? You have to be serious unless your boss will just ask you to go home.
This is 100% true, well. So let's move on. So the next thing is power. This is about feeling a sense of control over your work and life. Ali talks about how important it is to build mastery in the things you do. When you feel like you are in control and competent, it energizes you to keep pushing forward. It is that feeling of empowerment that gives you the drive to tackle bigger challenges.
Yes, that's such a very good point. Same as what I've just talked about being an entrepreneur and visionary leader just now. And with power, it doesn't have to be about mastering everything all at once. Even small wins like learning a new skill or making progress on a project can give you that boost of confidence and energy to keep going.
Exactly. And finally, we have people. Ali emphasizes the impact of your environment and the people around you. He talks about how being in a positive, supportive environment can energize you. It is not about competition, but collaboration. So when you surround yourself with people who uplift and inspire you, it is much more easier to stay motivated.
It is like you feed off the energy of the people around you. If you are in a negative or overly competitive environment, it drains your energy, to be honest. But when you are surrounded by people who are genuinely supportive, it lifts you up. And that is a big part of staying energized over the long term.
You know what? Ali actually shared a story in his book. So he talked about when he was in medical school, the environment was extremely competitive. So everyone, right, was fighting for the highest GPA in the exams to the point where some students would borrow all the copies of a book from the library, just that no one can borrow it.
Ew, that's very bad, Daniel. In that case, the student's mind is not about just learning anymore. It is about sabotaging others to keep yourself ahead. I think that's something that we all shouldn't be doing because why shall we create a win-lose situation when we can create a win-win situation?
Yeah, I think there is like a moral issue here. And guys, I want to let you know that life is not a zero-sum game. It is not like there's only room for one winner, in the entire competition or what. Because you see that businesses, they are collaborating all the time. They're helping each other to grow and expand. And guess what? Everyone benefits from this, like the businesses and the customers. So this is the mindset that we should have. There's enough success for all of us. So guys, do you understand that?
Daniel, it sounds so much like the Squid Game. Just now when the example just came out, right? Then my whole brain is all about like Squid Game. But to be honest, great analogy, Daniel.
Yeah.
So once you have got your energy in place, the next pillar is about unblock. This is where Ali focuses on removing the things that hold you back, whether it is mental blocks, fear, or simply not knowing where to start. The three parts here are seek clarity, find courage, and get started.
Seek clarity, the first step, is all about getting rid of the overwhelm that comes from not knowing what to do next. Ali talks about something called the uncertainty paralysis, where you are stuck because everything feels too big or too complicated. The solution is to break things down into smaller, actionable steps. The clearer you are about the next step, the easier it is to take action.
That is so relatable. We have all had moments where we feel overwhelmed by a big project or goal, but as soon as you simplify it and focus on just the next step, it feels more manageable. You stop overthinking and start doing.
Exactly. Then the second step is find courage. This is about facing the fears that hold you back, whether it is fear of failure, fear of judgment by others, fear of the unknown. Ali emphasizes that these fears are usually imagined. He encourages you to question those fears and recognize the worst case scenario is often not as bad as we make it out to be.
That's so true. Fear is such a big obstacle for all of us. We get stuck because we are afraid of what might go wrong. But most of the time, those fears are not even real. Once you acknowledge that, it becomes much easier to move forward.
So, in simple words, just don't think too much, right?
Yes, exactly. This is like a very good quote for the day.
Yeah, and the final part of unblock is to get started. This is all about overcoming the inertia of just getting moving. Ali compares it to static friction. It takes more effort to get something started than it does to keep it going once you are in motion. The key is to just take that first small step, no matter how small it is, and the momentum will build from there.
I love that idea. It is so easy to get stuck in the planning or even just thinking phase. But once you take that first step, everything else starts to fall into place. The hardest part is always just getting started.
Well, recently you just resolved a huge mental obstacles in your mind, right?
Yes, I've been there, so I have a lot to share.
Hmm.
At the time, I was so afraid when I have made the decision to break the $120,000 bond. At the time, I break the bond was just because of myself. I hate that job so much. I cry every day when I go to work. I stuck there because I did not know what to do and how can I solve this problem. Yeah, I just so anxious every day. I have no motivation at all. But after that, I know it's time for me to move on. So I read a lot of books and I suddenly realized my mission. Since then, I am no longer afraid of it because, I'm doing this for my mission, for everyone I love. I spent just $120,000 to let everyone do things they love without any concern. It is so worthy.
Yes, guys, you can see that from Belle's story, right? No matter how huge the problem is, everything can be disassembled into smaller pieces. You see, for Belle, right, her first step is to read a book. When you read a book, you get so much wisdom from it, and then you know how to move on. Then we can tackle the next obstacles one by one.
Yes, when especially when you think the thing is so big, right? You cannot complete everything at once. My advice is just take your first step. Once you step out, everything will be much easier. And that brings us to the final pillar, sustain. This is where Ali focuses on maintaining progress over the long term. The three parts here are conserve, recharge, and align.
Let's start with conserve. Ali talks about the importance of conserving your energy by focusing on the things that really matter. He suggests strategies like saying no to things that don't align with your goals or scheduling downtime to avoid burnout. It is not about doing more, but doing the right things and conserving your energy for what really counts.
Yes, and this is where a lot of people trip out. We think that to be productive, we need to be busy all the time, but that's actually not sustainable because when you look like you're very busy all the time, but you're actually doing nothing. Alice's approach is about working smarter, not harder. By conserving your energy and saying no to the things that drain you, you can stay focused on what's truly important.
Then we have recharge, which is all about taking time to rest and reset. Ali believes in the power of rest as a productivity tool, whether it is scheduling regular breaks, getting enough sleep, or even taking time away from work altogether. Recharging is essential to stay productive in the long term.
Yes, I can still remember when I first doing this Empowered Leon's YouTube video, right? I spent my whole day in editing just one video. I actually did not get enough sleep and rest at the time. I feel so burnt out. Then luckily I have Daniel with me here. He suggests me with a lot of method which can boost my productivity and ensure my overall well-being. And I think it is so easy to overlook this, especially when you're in the middle of a busy period. But if you don't take time to recharge, you'll burn out. But it is not a joke. And once you burn out, your productivity plummets. Ali's point is that rest isn't a luxury. It is a necessity if you want to keep going at a high level.
Some people think that when they sleep for 4 to 5 hours a day and working, all the other times is being productive. But research have shown that, they will actually live shorter than people who actually sleep for a full 8 hours per day. Yeah, so we move on to the next thing, which is align. This is probably the most important part of sustaining progress. Ali emphasizes the need to regularly check in with yourself to make sure that what you are doing aligns with your core values and the long-term vision. If your work isn't aligned with what truly matters to you, it is going to feel draining and unsustainable.
That's so true. When you're working on things that don't resonate with you or align with your bigger purpose, it feels like a constant uphill battle, just like, my nursing job. But when you're aligned, everything flows. You have a deeper motivation to keep going, even when things get tough. Just like, Daniel and I are working for Empower Leon. That's the thing that we truly love, truly enjoy, so we can easily tackle all problems.
And for this part, it also applies to your social life as well, guys. If you want to be productive in your work or career, you have to let go of some friends that do not add value to you. Focus on the quality of your friendship instead of quantity. Some friends, right, will just drain your energy that you won't be able to recharge. But for some people, like your loved ones, you can feel that you are really enjoying the moment with them, giving you the boost to tackle the next challenge in life.
And that's really the heart of feel good productivity. It is not just about getting things done, it is about doing things in a way that feels good and aligns with your values. When you are energized, unblocked, and working on things that matter to you, success becomes more sustainable.
Exactly. And that's what makes this approach so powerful. It is not just about working harder, but working in a way that keeps you energized and fulfilled. And that's what leads to long-term success.
So, those are the core pillars of feel good productivity that Ali shares in his book, Energize, Unblock, and Sustain. It is all outlined in a table of contents, and honestly, it is a solid framework for anyone looking to improve how they work and live.
Absolutely. But here's the thing, there's even more depth to these ideas that we are excited to dive into our next episode. We'll be breaking down key concepts like motivation, what really drives you, and how you can tap into that deeper fuel. Plus, we will explore how to design your life plan for the next 5 years, an exercise that is going to help you chart your path with purpose.
Yes, and in the meantime, if you're feeling stuck in your current job or uncertain about your next move, whether it is aligned with your mission or long-term goal or not, we have got something for you. Head over to www.empoweredleon.com/s and take our stay or slay quiz. It is a simple way to find out whether you should stay in your current role or it is time to make a transformation in your career.
Yes, and it is a great tool to help you start thinking about where you are right now and where you want to go next.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Future Builders podcast by Empower Liion. We have got more great insights lined up for the next one. It's time for us to slay, so stay tuned. Bye.
Truths, no more dreaming. Empowered, Liion, roar so loud. No fear in this crowd. Passion turns